Hey, welcome back to another episode of Dre's State of Mind. Just wanted to welcome everyone, and we're going to get back into it. Alright, so today we'll pretty much cover some topics. One topic is while I was at work, I was thinking, why is it with parents, they don't want their kids, I guess as they get a little bit older, to believe in, the fairy tale characters, like I like to call them, like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, things of that nature. I guess as they start spending a little bit more money, or some people just get jealous or whatever, that I've seen that they want the credit for, getting their kids Christmas presents, not Santa Claus. I've seen that happen before. But we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about some other things too. So let's get right into it. All right, so let's go. As I was at work, it hit me early in the day. I'm going to say early in the morning. And I was like, how come some parents, I guess they just want to crush or ruin their children's childhood fantasies of, the Easter Bunny, Christmas, Santa Claus and things of that nature. I'm not sure what other things, but I'm saying, just crush that and, just let them know that, there is no Easter Bunny or, there is no Santa Claus, at an early age. Now, when it came to my kids, I just let them figure that out, for themselves. As they got older, my son's 17, and I want to say he caught on to it early. He got on to it early. As a matter of fact, my daughter's 14, and she caught on to it fast as well. Because one time I had put on a Christmas gift, I think for my daughter, and I was just put on there to Vanessa, from Santa Claus or whatever, and she was like, "Daddy, I know that Santa Claus didn't get this for me. Santa Claus, you got this for me," and things of that nature. I was like, "No, Santa Claus got it for you," just playing around. And she like, "I know there's no Santa Claus," or something like that. So just letting your kids just eventually figure it out, because eventually they'll grow out of it. That's the way I look at it. But some parents just go out of their way to let their kids know, and some try to justify it as, I'm letting them know early so they can grow up faster, or, something like that, something stupid. And then these same people turn around and believe in a fantasy, character themselves. And the fantasy character I'm talking about is Jesus Christ. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I do not believe. Well, I'm not a religious person anyway. I'm not an atheist, because I do believe there's a higher being out there. But I don't believe in Christianity, none of the religions or anything like that, because pretty much it's all, the way I look at it, religion, all the different religions that's out there is pretty much a different interpretation of the same shit. That's the way I look at it. You're all pretty much just worshiping the same God, except for it's just taken in different views, the same thing. Alright, so I look at it as you watch the same movie, or it's the same show, or listen to the same song, but everybody gets something different out of it. And then they went back and then taught their people their views on the same thing. And that's pretty much the way that I look at it. And pretty much especially when it comes to Christianity, that was made up, pretty much from white people. And the people, white folks back in the day, they used Christianity to justify going around and imposing their will and enslaving other people, like enslaving other cultures, enslaving Africans, bring them over here. They used to send like missionaries and things of that nature over to Africa, and they, just because African society was different, and they were still living off the land and things of that nature, and Europeans didn't look at them as technologically advanced or civilized. They would send missionaries over there to try to convert them over to Christianity because they looked at them as being primitive. But little did they know that like the Moors is the ones who actually helped the Europeans get on their feet. Like, what I'm saying, like they used to live in caves and shit like that. But anyway, so pretty much like Christianity, Jesus Christ and everything like that, like once they started enslaving Africans, they pounded that shit into the Africans' heads, because most of them either believed in the African spirituality, or they were like Muslims. Like 20-30% of them were Muslims over in Africa. So I guess like they learned about they learned about Christianity, pretty much either by the time they got to America, or I guess like like on a boat ride or whatever. If you didn't die from the boat ride, then eventually, like, if you didn't want to get your ass beat, you had to accept, Jesus Christ and things of that nature. So fast forward centuries, this shit is ingrained in black folks. And it's like when you explain to people, because, they'll ask you, why don't you believe in Jesus and all this and that? People want to get into religious debates with me and shit. And I let them know exactly why. And it's like, the fastest way, I guess, like to piss off a black person really is to either talk bad about Jesus, Beyonce, or President Obama. Like, that's it. But yeah, so I'm like, so why do they get to believe in Jesus and force their kids to believe in Jesus and things of that nature, but the kids are not allowed to believe in the Easter Bunny and not allowed to believe in Santa Claus or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand that. And it's like, the way I look at it is you're contradicting yourselves. Because, is, in my opinion, Jesus made up. Like, now, don't get me wrong, like, the Bible is a good common sense, like, precautionary tale that you could read. Like, it gives you great advice for being a great human being. It's pretty much common sense. I wish that everybody else would use that common sense, and maybe the world wouldn't be so bad. Maybe some people wouldn't be so negative or whatever. But it's pretty much, in my opinion, like a really good story. But there's like nothing factual that comes from it. Maybe like I'm just the type of person, like, I need facts. Present me with the facts, present me with some scientific evidence, things of that nature. Prove it to me. Nobody really knows if the Bible is true until you actually die. So it's like, you'll find out whether or not it's true or not. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But pretty much, like, if you have the Anchor app, just leave me a message on here. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know, should parents just let their kids rock and, just believe in the Easter Bunny, believe in Santa Claus until they grow out of it? Or do you think you should nip that shit in the bud and just let them know that it doesn't exist? Do you think Jesus is real? Do you think he's not? Just let me know, and just leave me a message, and just let me know what you think. So as you're sitting here listening to my podcast, I know you're probably like, yo, this seems like it's easy. I think I could do this. Well, if you think that you can, and I encourage you that you should do it, listen to my brief sponsor. Now, if you're a huge sports fan like myself, you know that the NBA playoffs is in full swing. We're in round 2 right now. And so just to recap the first round, Golden State surprisingly actually beat the Clippers in 6. I expected them to sweep the Clippers, but the Clippers put up, they put up a hell of a fight. Boogie Cousins went down in the first round for Golden State, ended up tearing his quad, which he actually says that he hopes to be back for the playoffs, before the playoffs end. The only logical round that I would see him come back in would be like maybe the conference finals or maybe the finals at the latest. But pretty much they're in a dogfight right now in the second round with the Houston Rockets. They went up 2-0 on the Rockets. They took the first 2 games in Golden State. And then pretty much the Rockets came back and took the last 2 games in Houston. So it's pretty much the best of 3 series right now. So, because with that series tied up 2-2, I thought maybe that the Rockets, after losing the first 2, that they were going to get swept, or at least losing 5. But they're showing some grit now. Portland had ended up beating OKC in 5, and then pretty much unexpectedly, as I didn't see the Nuggets and Spurs series going 7, but it actually did go 7, which actually I shouldn't be too surprised because I should never really count out a Greg Popovich team, even if they're the 7th seed in the West. Without Kawhi Leonard, but they put up a hell of a fight. So pretty much right now, Portland and Denver are deadlocked, tied 2-2. Actually, Portland and Denver play Game 5 tonight. So that's another best of 3 series as well right now. And I think statistically, whoever wins Game 5 usually wins the series. So we'll see who wins that. Now, Damian Lillard has been pretty much underperforming in this series. But actually, first 2 games, he was actually pretty good, normal Damian Lillard, and then he's disappeared in the last 2 losses. Now, in not surprising fashion, in expected fashion, the Bucks swept the Pistons over in the East. The Pistons gave it their all, but they just were no match for the Bucks at all. Blake Griffin, he even he tried it with his knee, with his banged up knee and everything. He tried, but pretty much they had no shot at winning that series. Boston ended up sweeping the Pacers, who was without Victor Oladipo for pretty much the second half of the season. Which they were actually in a couple of those games, but they just blew games down the stretch. The Sixers won in 5 after dropping Game 1 in Philly. They actually won the next 4. Joel Embiid, he was kind of inconsistent, because he's dealing with a knee ailment. Ben Simmons, when he was able to run up and down the court, fast breaks, things of that nature, he was actually effective, but that man has definitely got to get a fucking jump shot. I said that last season, off season, put up as many jump shots as you can, try to make that mid-range jump shot come alive. He has not done that. And the better teams know how to game plan against Ben Simmons. Just pack the fucking lane. You can't drive on all of us. You have no jump shots, so we're just going to pack the lane, and we're going to make you pass. And you're only going to get your buckets through fast break opportunities. Brooklyn, they weren't as skilled enough to do that, but pretty much Toronto, because Toronto beat Orlando in the first round in 5. So, the Sixers and the Raptors are playing right now. Actually, right now as we speak, as I'm recording this, the series is tied 2-2. Now, the Sixers took one game in Toronto and then took game 3 in Philly. Now, they went up 2-1, and I was like, oh shit, because I think Toronto is the deeper team. They have the deeper roster, but pretty much like as far as skilled players, Toronto really only has Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam. I can never pronounce his name correctly. I don't count Kyle Lowry because even though he's a all-star, quote-unquote all-star, he disappears in the playoffs. So, and he's currently in that disappearing act right now. So Kawhi has pretty much like been willing, the Raptors throughout this whole fucking series. Like, he's been unstoppable. And then when it comes to the Bucks in the Celtics series, like, they've pretty much surprisingly, the Bucks have pretty much dominated the series. Despite losing game 1, they've won the last 3 and going up 3-1, and pretty much Kyrie Irving has been a no-show in this series. So we'll see if he can actually do what he helped Cleveland do against Golden State a couple years back and come back from a 3-1 deficit, or if all the Bucks have to do is just win one more game and then move on to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in, I believe, since 2001 when they lost to my Sixers. That was the Allen Iverson squad that went to the finals. So, yeah, that's the NBA playoffs for you right now. And I'll be back with another segment. Yeah. This is another segment of what grinds my gears. What pisses me off. Alright, so I have a pet peeve, especially at my job. Alright, so pretty much I work at a car dealership, alright? I'm a lot attendant over there. And alright, so the car salesmen, they sell their cars. When the people buy their cars, they get their 30-day temp tags or whatever. So I guess they got 30 days to go to the DMV and go get their regular tags, like to register the car and get their regular license plates and things of that nature. But the thing that pisses me off is when they get their actual license plates, like, these motherfuckers come back to the dealership and then they want us to put the fucking license plates on. I'm like, my nigga, like, how hard is it to put a fucking license plate on your car? Like, you can't do that shit on your own. Like, when I did that, when I got my Nissan Sentra 3 years ago, I went to the DMV, or motor vehicles, whatever your state calls it, or whatever your country calls it. But motor vehicles over here, registered my car, I put my own fucking license plate on. Like, all you need is a screwdriver, preferably like a flathead, because most of the screws that they use on there is either a flathead, or you might have to get the star shape, or the Phillips screwdriver or whatever, and just screw that shit, just screw it on. I don't understand, like, how hard it is. Why the fuck would you drive to the car dealership to get your license plate put on when you could put your own damn license plate on? Shit pisses me off. I'm trying to think of what other things like pretty much get on my nerves. That's pretty much it for right now, man. That's all I can think of. If you can think of anything that pisses you off, just leave it in the messages on the Anchor app. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about today in this podcast. So, like I said, I always, let you guys know I appreciate everybody who listens to this podcast. I appreciate all the love is being shown. And you can follow me on Instagram, Andre Boumaye, or Andre_Boumaye. On Twitter, Andre_Boumaye. On Twitch, which is a video game, streaming site, because I am a gamer. You can follow me at King Gordo Gaming. That's all one word. And on YouTube, I have two YouTube channels. Andre Gaynair, Gaynair. That's one YouTube channel, and then the other one is King Gordo Gaming. So follow me on my platform, on my different platforms, if you want to stay in touch. And I hope to hear you on the next. Well, I hope that you are still rocking with me on the next episode. So pretty much just get at me, and thank you for rocking with your boy. 1.